Good one, you are.
I'm sure you're pleased with the fight at the end, but why did it take so late into the game to kind of see the production?
Maybe some of the fight. I think, we mentioned that on Friday night, that the eighth inning was pretty exciting, but why did it take till then to have that sense of urgency? Now, I will say this. I kind of try and predict whether we're going to win or lose a little bit in my head during pregame. I thought everybody showed up to the park with a great attitude. Maybe I was fooled. Maybe they were overly positive. But once the game started, you want to be the first team to score, and it makes it a little easier to relax. And, they were that team, and our team started to gather a little tension after that. And tension's never going to help you in any situation.
I feel like guys were pressing a little bit when Shaw got down earlier.
Maybe. I don't think, overall, I just think they put together, it's supposed to be the greatest offense since sliced bread, which it's not. It's a really good offense and have an opportunity and the ability to do great things, but this is a 56-game season, so you got to kind of play the percentages, and in doing so and looking at what our guys have done damage-wise, they put together a good game plan, and our guys never adjusted. I think we hit I don't know how many ground balls we hit today, and we were out front countless times, so they put together a good game plan. That's step one, but step two is you got to execute it. And then if you're going to be a good team and a good player and mainly a good offense, you have to adjust when things aren't going well. And our offense never really did that the whole weekend. Even in yesterday's win, I felt like we won because the pitchers, were excellent.
Well, it seemed to be kind of cruising along, and then a couple things go bad, and it starts falling apart a little bit.
Yeah, thank you. It makes it tough on me. You don't know whether you took a guy out or left him in, too long, or what timed it perfect until the game's over, and you look at the scoreboard and you look smart or you look dumb. But we have a couple guys that have either been inconsistent. They're one guy one day, one guy another day, which is they're kids, so a little bit of that expected. But then also we've had some situations this year where it kind of unfolds or unravels on us a little too quick. A couple different guys in that case. So we got to get somebody up hot right away. But, you hit the nail on the head. It started to go downward a little bit, and I wasn't going to wait around any longer for it to go even further down.
Do you feel like you saw enough self-accountability from the players this weekend, kind of calling each other out maybe when things were a little slow?
Yeah, you get to the time of year where some of the guys that aren't playing a lot, that's not the most exciting feeling in the world, so you either embrace that role or you don't. Could get a little more oomph out of some of those guys. That's not very, great topic to talk about with media, but on the field, players you're talking about, I think you got guys communicating, guys, having each other's back and things like that. I think some guys could control their emotions a little better. Again, you're dealing with kids, but, overall, we got outplayed, and, there were some fundamentals that need to be addressed. Kind of told the team after the game, when you're winning games, it's hard to, justify spending 30 extra minutes on bunt defense. It's not like we're not working on it, but, now we should have their attention, and we have incentive as coaches to make sure, A, B, or C never happens again. But, overall, I'm not in their brains, so clearly Wright State came to this series, more ready to win. It was more important to them. But I think by the time you get to Sunday and it's a rubber match, it better be serious for everyone, and I think it was, but they played better than we did.
How disheartening is it for this to be the final weekend series before SEC play?
I'll let you know after we play South Carolina. Any SEC coach, I think, would respond by saying they'd rather take a series win, if you could trade it, but it doesn't necessarily work that way. Hey, last year, we cruised into Auburn and went on a road trip, and they smacked us around silly in their own park, and that was a rude wake-up call for our guys. So the wake-up call came a week earlier this year, or a weekend earlier, and that could be very beneficial, but it's not automatic. You don't snap your fingers and make it beneficial. You learn from the things that went wrong, and determination is the best quality a baseball player can have. And if the guys in the locker room behind me aren't determined next time they get to play baseball, then they might be doing the wrong thing.
Two more guys.
Did you feel like the guys were maybe complacent entering the weekend with the hot start?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of that. I think, I find myself doing it too. You kind of get lulled to sleep. You're winning games and everything seems to be going right. And I mentioned it to you all. Things are going to get tough at some point. Well, here we are. So I think that's human nature. I mean, baseball is supposed to be a game where there's a lot of ups and downs and a lot of bad breaks, and you know, guys make diving catches on you or guys hit good pitches, but we hadn't had a lot of that. So, but this is reality, and that's a good thing. Again, maybe it's a blessing we get it a week earlier. No one should like it, but calluses come from stuff like that, and people with a lot of calluses are pretty damn good people to be around.
What was Kirby doing well on the mound?
He's a stud. I mean, sorry, first instinct. I mean, he's a freshman, so he don't need to get a big head, but he's always been a winner. Same reputation as Drew, and I think he's really able to move the ball around as a pitcher. And I thought he was good. I thought the last outing was really exciting, you know, because he wasn't himself when he first came back from the injury. He needed a few outings, but now he's kind of starting to find himself a little bit in the same groove we always saw in high school and that he had in the fall. So he'll be a factor for us for sure.
Ryan, last question here.
Is Wallace still locked into a weekend starting spot going into SEC play?
No, I'm in probably a strength and a weakness, depending on how it's going for me, is I'm a little too ADD. I think it should be competition every week for a travel roster, for starting rotation and things like that. So we'll take a look at it, but I think eventually what we have to have, and it may not be a while, you got to have 3 guys and give you 5 innings. You know, one of the best starts I ever coached or was around was Aaron Crow's, like, the score against Texas was, I think, like 23-16 we won, and he gave up like 8 runs, but the wind was blowing out like crazy. He got his butt kicked, but he gave us 5 innings, you know, and gave us a chance to win. And so you go to the pen real early. It's understandable with guys like Garrett, and Sewell will be one of those guys, and we may do the opener thing every now and then because we got some good relievers, but eventually SEC weekends, man, your starters got to give you some innings regardless if you win or lose, because you got to put together, you know, 3 times 9, whatever the hell that is, and there may be some extra innings. It's 27, by the way.
Thanks, guys.